If you're thinking, wow, it would be really dumb if he just said watch these 5 anime and you can learn Japanese, you're absolutely right. Which is why that is exactly what I am going to do. Oh, better luck next time, weebs. Kidding, sort of. These are my 5 study archetypes. Stay tuned until the end and I'll tell you how to translate watching anime into actual learning, but for now, here are my top 5 anime for learning Japanese.
001
Now, why on earth would I choose something complicated and technical like Space Brothers for my first recommendation? See, for me, not only am I very interested in science and space travel, I'm a lot more educated on this subject matter than the average person. So when they're talking about space and rockets and NASA, I understand what they're saying before they even say it, basically 100% of the time, which makes it a very small leap in comprehension for me to understand this anime. So archetype number 1 is the expert. Your life experience matters, use it to your advantage. Are you an artist? Definitely watch Blue Period. Do you fuck a lot of space hookers? Watch Interspecies Reviewers. Do you play a lot of sports? Well, obviously Haikyuu and Slam Dunk are really popular, but the current trend in anime is to find whatever niche sport hasn't been turned into cute waifus yet and do that. So I guarantee you'll be able to find an anime for whatever sport you play. I mean, literally just this year, we already have fishing, soccer, futsal, badminton, golf, ballet, jockeying, parkour, badminton again. We're not even halfway into the year. What is this? This is like, what the fuck level of shameless pandering. But I mean, for the one horse girl weeaboo in the audience, go fucking nuts, I guess. Going back to the weeaboo shit, maybe My Dress Up Darling is for you. This one also has pretty realistic dialogue, although if you aren't in high school or about to be in high school, very, very alarming, but you know. If you're into shogi, Sangatsu no Raion is really, really good. If you're into high-stakes gambling, well, you get the fucking point. Watch something that you already know a lot about.
002
Archetype number 2 is the favorite, something that you can watch over and over and over again. For me, I almost never watch anime or movies a second time. Why would I? I barely have enough time to watch all the good shit I haven't seen, so watching stuff I already have seems like a waste of time. Kimi no Na wa is the exception. I love this movie to fucking tears. I've seen it like 8 times, and I could easily watch it another 10 and love it just as much. I could probably spend an entire day just watching this movie back to back to back and love every second of it. I love, 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 love this movie. What I'm trying to say is it's important to not just understand the words, but to really understand 100% of the nuance, and watching the same thing over and over and over again is a really great way to do that. Of course, you probably can't go and watch just anything 20 times, but there's probably something out there you could. For me, Kimi no Na wa. For you, a smelly weeaboo, maybe Naruto. Actually, the other thing is this probably works a lot better with a movie than a TV show. Not that you couldn't do it, it's just that it's a lot easier to watch a 2-hour movie 20 times than 100 episodes of an anime 20 times. Again, not that you couldn't do it, just maybe one of these things is a little more productive than the other.
003
So this one you probably saw coming, because archetype number 3 is the children's show. Something you can just pick up and start watching almost immediately after you start learning Japanese. Something you can actually learn from rather than use to supplement your studies. Something made for literal children that uses very little complicated language, tends to describe everything that's happening, and everyone speaks in a really slow, exaggerated manner. In other words, something deliberately extremely easy to understand. Is Pokémon the easiest anime to understand? No, probably not. Actually, I know this for sure, because one thing I notice is anytime they start talking about anything a little bit complicated, it immediately cuts to Pikachu doing really cute stuff, just so the younger kids don't get bored and stop paying attention. This happens literally like every single time, so from a purely educational standpoint, maybe something like Doraemon or Crayon Shin-chan would be better. Because not only are they easier, there's a good chance a lot of the stuff you're gonna pick up from Pokemon is not only useless Japanese, but just the Japanese names of Pokemon and their attacks. Very useful, however, if you go on to playing Hey You Pikachu in Japanese, he says, as if this is either a realistic learning goal or something you couldn't just pick up from playing Hey You Pikachu in Japanese. Pikachu, Jumon Boruto da! That game cost a lot more than you'd think it would to get it up and running on an emulator, because you can't emulate the microphone, and you need a controller and a double adapter for the... Anyway. So this might be really weird to hear, but Pokemon in Japanese is like 1,000,000 times better than English. Not only is the English casting interesting. What I mean is they seem to have picked actors that more closely resemble the Japanese voices rather than who's the best actor, which it's seriously uncanny. Team Rocket's voice actors are actually extremely good, but literally everyone else is just better and straight up funnier in the Japanese. And I'm not just talking about the Lieutenant Surge episode.
Oh, next challenger はキュートだな。
チャレンジャーは私じゃないんだけど。
では who?
It's me だ。
Who? Oh, Yuga.
Like, I actually laughed out loud more than once in watching this. Yana kanji. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're picking something for a beginner's ear, at least pick something that will be interesting to you. Because even if something is a more productive study tool, that doesn't matter if you're just going to lose interest and give up halfway through. By the way, if you're interested in playing or watching Pokemon in Japanese, I highly recommend you check out my favorite YouTube channel, Imported Cheese. I actually have a cameo in his latest video in his series on the horribly broken, glitchy mess that is Pokemon Green. It's pretty fucking sick, and you should check it out. Link in the description.
004.
So hopefully there's at least some crossover with number 1, but Archetype number 4, Realistic Anime, is going to help you hear things that are at least, hopefully, somewhat representative of reality. In Death Note, not only is the dialogue extremely realistic, that's what makes it compelling. It's about two autistic geniuses trying to appear normal even though they know the other is anything but. Absolutely fucking brilliant. A good slice of anime would also be really helpful for this. Basically anything set in the real world and doesn't have characters that are, let's say, too anime. Steins Gate, counterintuitively, is pretty good for this, assuming you skip over every part with Okabe and Ferris. Literally, don't bother trying to understand what they're saying, it's not worth it. I'm probably giving more points to this than I should because it's my favorite anime ever. Again, My Dress Up Darling, not bad if you want to sound like a high schooler, but for most of you that should set off some red flags and possibly some police sirens.
005だ。
The last anime I'm going to suggest isn't even an anime at all. Fucking psych, bitches! Oh! It is based on a manga though, and if you've seen part 1, you should know that Archetype number 5 live action shows are helpful because they don't enunciate clearly 100% of the time like they do in anime. My recommendation is, of course, Midnight Diner. You may want like a VPN or something for this because Western Netflix does not have all the stuff from before they picked it up. Basically, it's about a tiny diner open from midnight until dawn about the social rejects that work in Tokyo's nightlife. Amazing show. Every episode is a treat and shows you the kind of characters you wouldn't normally see in anime. Your queer characters, for example, your alcoholics, your washed up idols. It's a fucking beautiful story. My favorite episode is the one with the food critic, and it's about how it's never too late for family and love and the simple joys in life. So now that you've made it this far, maybe you've even picked out some anime of your own. You're probably like, what now? How do I actually translate anime into learning Japanese? And luckily for you weebs, this is actually part 3 of my series on how to learn Japanese with anime. First, if this video was helpful or at least interesting to you, do me a favor and step on the like button. So part 1 is why you shouldn't listen to the degenerate normies and why you should watch anime to learn Japanese and what you should expect to get out of it. Part 2 and the upcoming part 4 are about the tools that will actually help you translate watching anime into learning Japanese. For those just starting, I do plan to make a video on how I learned Japanese and passed N2 in 2 years. But for now, I talk about all the resources I used in my Duolingo review / gaslight video. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, friends, and I will see you in the next video.